What if everything you believe about reality, effort, and achievement is wrong? And what if I told you that most people spend their lives trying to change the external world, while the real power lies in the invisible? This video isn't just another talk about positive thinking. What you're about to discover is something very few people have access to: how the hidden code works that connects your thoughts to the vibrational structure of the universe. And here's the shock: you're already using this code, but you might be doing it against yourself. How many times have you wondered why some people seem to get everything effortlessly, while you feel like you're swimming against the current? The answer lies in the creative mind, and in how you've been programming it, even without realizing. Today, you'll learn how to access the quantum field in a clear, practical way, and turn your mind into a living antenna for conscious manifestation. But get ready, this content might flip your perception of reality upside down. Because once you understand this, you'll never see your life the same way again. The creative mind is not some distant concept reserved for mystics in white robes with incense burning. It is, in fact, the most powerful instrument any human being carries within, and the most neglected. This mind is the matrix through which everything that exists passes before taking shape in the physical world. While the conscious mind observes and analyzes, the subconscious records, and the superconscious, that divine spark within us, manifests. It is within this trio that the quantum code that shapes reality is hidden. Now, when we speak about the role of the quantum observer, we're not just poetically saying that you create your reality. This is pure physics. In the double-slit experiment, for example, it was proven that simple observation alters the behavior of matter. This means that your attention, when sustained with conscious intention, literally collapses the wave function. In other words, among infinite possibilities, you select the one that resonates with your most dominant vibrational thought. But why is it that even knowing this, so many people remain stuck in negative patterns? The answer lies in the subconscious mind, which operates 95% of the time on autopilot. It's like software running in the background, full of inherited subconscious beliefs that distort the perception of the vibrational field. That's why mental reprogramming is a necessity, not an esoteric luxury. The field of possibilities doesn't respond to what you wish for with words, but to what you vibrate with energetic frequency. And here comes a crucial point that almost no one talks about: thinking positively is not enough. You must align conscious intention with felt emotion. You can affirm every day that you are prosperous, but if deep down you feel lack, the field responds to the feeling, not the phrase. The creative mind does not respond to theory, it responds to vibration. And once you understand this, you'll begin to see the universe not as something distant, but as a perfect mirror of your inner world. Now, what if I told you there's a way to directly access this infinite vibrational field? Imagine that the entire universe is like an invisible ocean, pulsing with infinite possibilities all around you. Everything that exists, or could exist, is already encoded within this quantum field. But to access it, you need to tune your energetic frequency to match what you want to manifest. The mind is the antenna, vibrational thought is the signal, and the quantum field is the receiver. When you emit a coherent vibration, the field responds. When you emit chaos, it reflects confusion. It works like an old radio: if you want to hear a specific station, you have to turn the dial until you find the right frequency. And your mind does exactly that with quantum reality. When you think, feel, and visualize something clearly, you're tuning into the field of possibilities. This field, governed by laws that go beyond linear logic, responds based on vibration, not physical effort. Here, conscious intention matters more than brute force. Here, conscious co-creation replaces unconscious effort. Quantum physics has already shown that everything is energy, including your thoughts. When you realize that every thought collapses a wave function, you understand that reality isn't something that happens to you, but something you choose from within an infinite spectrum. And yes, this demands responsibility. Because if you keep vibrating in fear, doubt, or despair, you're connecting to versions of reality that will reflect exactly that: more fear, more doubt, more lack. The key, then, isn't about controlling the universe, it's about mastering your internal field. Practices like meditation, conscious breathing, and mindfulness help raise your vibrational frequency and align you with the quantum field. Want a simple example? Before making any important decision, stop. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this in alignment with what I want to manifest? That small gesture changes your point of attraction. And that's when everything starts to move. But, do you know what really shapes your reality invisibly, even without you realizing it? There's something curious behind everything you feel, believe, and attract, invisible codes silently operating behind the scenes of the mind. These are symbols, archetypes, and ancestral patterns that live in your subconscious and shape your perception of reality, as if your life were a movie written by memories you don't even remember living. These codes are not random. They vibrate, repeat, and interact with the field of possibilities. And this is where sacred geometry comes in, a living language that activates the creative mind and reprograms it for manifestation. Think of the flower of life or the Metatron's cube. These aren't just pretty drawings for people who like mystical tattoos on Instagram. They're symbolic structures that contain vibrational information. When you contemplate or meditate on these symbols, you're activating encoded frequencies within your mental field. It's as if your subconscious mind were a lock, and these symbols, the keys. From there, subconscious beliefs begin to realign with quantum consciousness. And speaking of beliefs, they are the main lines of code in your reality. If you grew up hearing that money is dirty or that true love doesn't exist, those phrases become vibrational commands stored in your subconscious mind. The result? Manifestation faithfully obeys what has been recorded. That's why observing your mental patterns is like examining the commands of an invisible program running 24/7. Ignoring this is like living in quantum zombie mode. This is where symbolic language can be reprogrammed with conscious intention. Meditating while visualizing the flower of life, listening to harmonic sounds like the primordial poem, and writing affirmations that break cycles, all of these are practical ways to alter those codes. Try creating a symbolic altar, with sacred elements that evoke expansion and clarity. Make it a daily habit. The quantum field responds best when you become the programmer of your own mind. Now, what if there were a real method to completely rewrite that code? Let's get straight to the point. No one is born blocked. The limitation you feel today isn't a sentence, it's a program. And every program can be rewritten. The subconscious mind holds a deep archive of everything you've ever seen, heard, and felt, and it uses this hidden database to decide what you deserve, or not. The problem is, it doesn't judge, it just executes. If you carry limiting subconscious beliefs about money, love, success, or self-worth, reality will mirror that back to you, no questions asked. But this is where the power of mental reprogramming comes in, the moment you stop being a passenger in your own creative mind and take the wheel with conscious intention. Techniques like daily affirmations, creative visualization, and neural repetition are simple, yet incredibly powerful, practices. Want an example? Write a phrase like, "I am a channel of infinite abundance," and repeat it while looking into your own eyes in the mirror for 21 days. This activates your neuroplasticity and begins to replace the old code with a new vibrational pattern. And why does it work? Because the brain is moldable. Neuroplasticity proves that you can create new neural connections through repeated experiences infused with emotion. The formula isn't magic, it's scientific. Vibrational thought plus felt emotion plus repetition equals new quantum reality. That's why when you affirm with conviction and imagine with clarity, the vibrational field around you starts to respond. You're not just thinking differently, you're becoming a different person, at a different energetic frequency. If you want to go a step further, start writing daily. Create a future reality journal. Describe your ideal life as if it were already happening, where you live, how you feel, what you hear when you wake up. This conditions your subconscious mind to vibrate in alignment with a new identity. quantum reality begins to shape itself around what you vibrate as normal. And when that happens, the coincidences that appear are anything but coincidence. But what if I told you that the true fuel behind this reprogramming is your emotion? Few people realize this, but emotion is more than just feeling, it's energy in motion. And within the quantum code, it is the access key to manifestation. Isolated thoughts have power, yes, but when they are charged with genuine emotion, they gain vibrational weight. It's like comparing a lit candle to a lightning bolt. One has light, the other has impact. Elevated emotions like gratitude, love, enthusiasm, and faith act as authorization codes that unlock the field of possibilities within quantum reality. You know when you truly get emotional during a visualization? When you cry tears of joy imagining your transformed life? That's not drama, that's deep vibrational alignment. In that moment, the vibrational field recognizes the coherence between thought, emotion, and conscious intention. That's why practices that raise your energetic frequency are essential. Music that touches the soul, breathing exercises, intuitive dance, sunlight baths, or simply contemplating nature, all of these are real ways to tune into what you want to co-create. The formula is simple, yet often overlooked. Thought plus emotion plus vibrational alignment equals manifestation. But the secret lies in congruence. It's no use desiring wealth in your mind while vibrating scarcity in your body. Manifestation happens when your creative mind, your heart, and your actions all speak the same message to the quantum field. And that requires daily practice, not perfection. Quantum energy responds more to authenticity than to performance. Want a powerful exercise? Upon waking, place your hand over your heart and say, "Today I choose to vibrate at the frequency of what I wish to attract." Feel it. Don't just repeat it. Bring forth memories that evoke the desired feeling. Mentally recreate scenes that make you smile, feel grateful, or radiate love. That instantly shifts your energetic frequency. And guess what? When emotion aligns with intention, the universe bends. But, what happens when that emotion is directed with absolute focus and deliberate intention? Everything in the universe responds to a very simple, and almost magical, principle: what you focus on, expands. When you combine the clarity of intention with the power of conscious attention, you are literally coding your reality. The creative mind works like a laser. The more focused the direction, the more intense the collapse of the wave function. It's as if the quantum field says, "Oh, so that's what you want? Alright, here it is." But for that to happen, you need to stop sending mixed signals to the universe. Intention without attention is like writing a letter and forgetting to send it. You can have the purest of intentions, but if you don't sustain that intention with consistent focus, it dissolves into the sea of infinite possibilities. And attention, when nourished with awareness, becomes a magnetic field. A practical example? Instead of saying, "I want to be healthy," define, "I choose to feel light, full of energy, and in balance every day." Now, direct your attention to each daily choice that supports this intention: food, sleep, words, thoughts. What few people realize is that focus is a spiritual practice. It organizes your vibration. When you learn to place your attention on what you want, and not on what you fear, you begin to shift your vibrational field with precision. That's why spiritual masters across all traditions speak of watching your thoughts or fixing your gaze on one point. This isn't about control, it's about vibrational mastery. Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy settles, a new quantum reality is born. If you want to try it, choose one single desire today. Just one. Write it out in detail. Visualize it for 5 minutes upon waking, feeling as if it's already your reality. Throughout the day, every time your mind wanders, bring your focus back to that desire. Notice how the field begins to respond, sometimes in subtle ways, sometimes through loud synchronicities. Conscious intention is like a vibrational code being typed into the field. But, is there an even deeper language, made of forms and sounds, that speaks directly to the universe? Before the word, there was sound. Before form, there was pattern. Reality, though it appears solid, is built from organized vibrations, and the universe responds to specific codes. Among these codes, the most ancient and powerful are sacred geometry, primordial sound, and conscious light. These aren't just beautiful concepts meant to decorate esoteric books. They are real tools of manifestation. And once you understand this language, you begin to communicate with the field of possibilities on a much deeper level. The flower of life, for example, is not just a charming mandala, it's a vibrational map containing the entire mathematics of creation. The Metatron's cube organizes the forms that structure everything in the physical plane. Meditating with these images, or even having them visible in your environment, subtly but powerfully reprograms the vibrational field. And sound? Sound is a portal. The mantra Om, chanted with conscious intention, reorganizes the creative mind, aligning your frequencies with universal consciousness. And light? Don't just think of light bulbs or sunlight. We're talking about light as information. When you imagine your reality bathed in golden light, for example, you're activating a vibrational field of cleansing, clarity, and mental power. That's why many ancient traditions used light and sound together in rituals. It wasn't theater, it was vibrational engineering. Today, you can do the same. Listening to binaural sounds while visualizing geometric patterns is like speaking fluently with the universe. Want an exercise? Choose a symbol, like the flower of life, and meditate by gazing at it for 3 minutes. Then, chant a sound continuously, like Om, allowing the vibration to resonate in your chest. Feel it. Imagine your creative mind being reprogrammed with each second. This isn't superstition, it's applied vibrational physics. And if you think that's powerful, wait until you understand what happens when mind, emotion, and spirit come into full coherence. There comes a moment when the mind stops fighting, the heart stops doubting, and the spirit simply aligns. This is the state of vibrational coherence, where the creative mind merges with the quantum field, and manifestation becomes something natural, almost inevitable. You're no longer asking the universe, you're co-creating with it. This state isn't reached through willpower, but through conscious surrender. It's when you truly feel that you are already connected to the reality you desire. And the field vibrates in response. To reach this state, the secret isn't to do more, but to feel better. The subconscious mind responds to vibrational states, not to rushed, repeated phrases. When mind, body, and spirit are in coherence, the energetic frequency you emit is clear, strong, and irresistible. And this isn't mystical talk, it's applied science. The Heart Math Institute, for example, has proven that alignment between the heart and brain generates a coherent electromagnetic field that directly affects the environment around you. In other words, when you are aligned, reality aligns too. But how do you reach this state? Practices like deep gratitude, guided meditation with creative visualization, and even intentional silence are excellent paths. Try this. Before sleeping, take a deep breath and feel gratitude for something that hasn't happened yet. Visualize it as if it were already your reality. Let the feeling grow until it becomes more real than any fear. That vibration is recorded in the field of possibilities. And little by little, reality begins to collapse in your direction. At this point, you realize you're no longer creating reality. You are reality in manifestation. Quantum energy flows without resistance. Time seems to adapt to your inner states. And life begins to respond to you with such precise synchronicities that you ask yourself, is it me, or is it the universe? Spoiler, it's both. But what if this same mind, now fused with the source, could be used as a true portal to access realities once considered impossible? The mind, when understood in its essence, is not just a center of thoughts, it is a portal. A portal between the invisible and the visible, between the field of possibilities and concrete experience. When you visualize something with clarity and intensity, you're not just daydreaming, you're shaping. Creative visualization is one of the most powerful keys to access quantum reality. It's not imagination in a childish sense, it's applied spiritual technology, used for millennia by athletes, CEOs, and mystics alike. Neville Goddard called it living in the end, that is, feeling now as if what you desire is already real. When you do this, the vibrational field around you is instructed to collapse that specific possibility. It's not about tricking the brain, it's about teaching it to recognize a new normal. The creative mind, when vibrating at that frequency, sends precise signals to the universe. And when feeling and belief become congruent, manifestation is only a matter of time and alignment. Want a simple and powerful practice? Create a 10-second mental movie of your ideal reality, something that fully symbolizes your desire already fulfilled. It could be you signing a contract, hugging someone, looking at a bank balance. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you feel it. Replay this movie every day, with real emotion. Make it a ritual. Not as someone waiting for it to happen, but as someone already vibrating in what is. The quantum field responds faster to what feels familiar. And when this practice becomes natural, you don't just manifest results, you transform. The old you begins to dissolve, and a new vibrational identity takes the lead. You no longer need to control everything. You align, and reality responds. But what if this transformation is actually the first step toward becoming something even greater, the living code itself that activates creation all around you? There comes a moment when everything connects. You realize you're not just using the creative mind, you are the creative mind in action. At this point, the human being becomes more than a manifester, they become the vibrational code itself that shapes reality. Thought and matter are no longer opposites, they become complementary. You think, you vibrate, you feel, and the world changes. Not through magic, but because your vibrational field has become so coherent that reality has no choice but to comply. You begin to notice patterns no one else sees, synchronicities that become normal, intuitions that are confirmed with precision. Your life becomes a dance with quantum energy. Every gesture, every word, every thought, all emit signals to the field of possibilities. And the most beautiful part of all? You no longer need to force anything. You are the frequency. You are the sacred symbol. You are the flower of life itself, pulsing conscious intention, emitting codes, co-creating with universal consciousness. But don't think this requires isolation in caves or vows of silence. The living code expresses itself in ordinary life, in an honest conversation, in a purposeful project, in a compassionate act. It's when you turn every small action into an extension of your vibration. When you begin walking through the world as a conscious channel of the creative mind, everything aligns, the right people appear, doors open, obstacles become bridges. You're no longer seeking the field, you're expressing it. So, what happens when a human being fully embodies, lives, and transmits this frequency day after day? When they step into the role of conscious co-creator and transform their own life into a sacred ritual of continuous manifestation? That answer lies right at the beginning. Because now that you've understood all the foundations, it might be time to revisit the origin of it all, and discover why the quantum code of the creative mind is, in truth, the greatest secret hidden in plain sight. Now tell me, after everything you've learned here today, are you really going to keep living on autopilot? Will you keep repeating the same patterns, attracting the same situations, hoping that a miracle will happen, or will you take control of your creative mind and become the miracle? The quantum code is already here, pulsing in every thought, every emotion, every intention you emit. But it only activates when you decide that enough is enough. That you can't keep living disconnected, vibrating in fear, doubt, and scarcity. So the real question is, are you going to apply this knowledge? Will you start today to reprogram your subconscious mind, to consciously co-create, to vibrate as someone who already is what they desire? Or will you let this video be just one more piece of content that touched you, and faded away? If this awakens something in you, leave a comment below. What do you choose to manifest now? And of course, if you want to keep diving into this universe of quantum consciousness, vibrational manifestation, and mental power, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and stay with us. Because here, your reality won't be created by chance, it will be created by you.